Hi, babes. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you all for tuning in to episode 7 of Disciples in Making. And today we're going to talk about two different scriptures, and those scriptures are Romans 8:18 and Romans 8:28. So let's start with Romans 8:18. So it says, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. And I think this is a reminder that our daily struggles cannot compare to what God has in store for us. We can't be so fixated on our struggles of today, because that's going to keep us in a place that God didn't call us to be in. And yes, God called his like as Christians we're gonna be in suffering, be in suffering. But even in the midst of our suffering, we have to find and give him the glory through it all. That's what this is a reminder of. Even in the midst of your pain and suffering, you still have to find the goodness and glory of God, regardless of what's going on around you. And it can't compare to what's yet to come. And I'm even reminded that it's not even talking about like the earth, like it's talking about our eternity with our Father, because in heaven there's no suffering, there's no pain, there's none of that stuff in heaven that is here in earth. And like I said, like I'm reminded to keep on going no matter what it looks like, because God is a God that has all control. And when he has all control, and we know his character, we know he does everything to better us, regardless of how we feel in the midst of our storm. Because even for me personally, in the midst of my storm, I'm always like, I'm not gonna lie, it gets to a point where I'm like, God, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? And then once I get out of my season of my storm, I'm like, God, thank you. There's countless of times, and I can even count, like just recently, like I've questioned him, God, why is this happening? And then he showed me why things has happened the way that they happen, and I'm glad they happen the way that God intended for them to happen, instead of the way that Sha'nya wanted it. Even though God's way is going to be trials and tribulations, and in Sha'nya's way, I just want to get straight to the blessings. I don't want to suffer. I don't want no hardships. I will get there one day. I will get to not being suffering. I will get to the glory that he has for his children. But right now, what he called for us on earth is to suffer. And like I said, though he has trials and tribulations, in those trials and tribulations, we are going to learn things about ourselves and learn that we are stronger than we thought we were. And I know for me personally, it's like I feel like I'm not strong in certain situations. So God puts me in certain trials and tribulations to show me that I am too strong. I'm stronger than I thought I was. And I think that is good. Though it is hard in the midst of our suffering and all that, it is good lessons to be learned and to take in. And like I said, like, this is not even talking about like the glories of the like what's to come to us while we're on earth. This is talking about, as well as when we die, we're going to experience heaven. And like I said, heaven has no suffering. Heaven has none of that stuff, no bad that the earth has. And I think that's what we get messed up at, because this is too talking about in heaven just as much as it's talking about on earth. And moving on to Romans 8:28, it says, we know that all things work together for those who love the Lord and who's been called according to his purpose. What I found out, God can use anything he wants to. That fear you have, the thing that you are so ashamed about, he can use that for his glory, and that can take you so far unimaginable. Like for me personally, I have a fear of speaking. And the crazy thing is, but one day I desire to do things that requires me to speak. And I feel that that's one of my callings that God has for me. And I'm scared. Like I want to do it, but I'm scared. And that's I'm very insecure about my speaking, because I feel like I don't enunciate my words. That's an insecurity, because I ain't gonna lie, like a family member of mine, was like basically talking about how I talked when I was growing up. So that made me very insecure on how I was speaking. But I feel like God is using my speaking to get his children into his word. Hence now I'm using my speaking to get y'all to understand and to gravitate to the Lord, in his word. And like I said, he can use the thing that you're insecure about, and he can use the thing that you're not insecure about. He can use whatever he wants to use, the good, the bad, the ugly. He's going to use you. Don't count yourself out. Don't count yourself out, because God can use you too. No matter if you're a drunk, no matter if you're a weed head, God can use you. And I also wrote, I'm reminded that sometimes we don't even go through what we go through for ourselves, but for others, so they can learn what we've been through. And I think that is a great reminder to have, because we don't even, honestly, like I just said, like we don't even go through some of the stuff. We don't even go through it for ourselves, but we go through it for one, for the glory of God, but for two, to show people, okay, I've been down this road. You don't want to go down this road. This is what happened to me. Okay, so that's why testimonies are a thing, to honestly show the gloriness and give God his glory, but to show people, okay, this person thinking about doing this very thing, but I already been through it. So let me tell you, so you don't go through the same mistakes that I went through. We are all here to help each other at the end of the day. God wants unity. He wants unity in him. He does not want division. He wants unity. And I think, that's where our testimonies come in. Like, with our testimonies, somebody can come in and be like, I was thinking about doing the same exact thing, but me seeing your testimony today, it showed me, okay, I don't need to go down this road. And then that's when community happens. And then, it's just a good chain reaction happens with that. And I think that is good. So basically what I'm trying to say in this whole video is, like, our present sufferings cannot compare to what God has for us. And even in our sufferings, there are lessons to be, there's something to be learned in every situation. And God can use you no matter what you've been through, and no matter what you've done in life. He can use you. And that very thing that you are so insecure and afraid of, he can use that very thing to skyrocket your life for his glory. So, yeah, thank you all for watching, and I love you guys.